Honey, I Shrunk the Kids has a successor in Grounded. The gameplay takes place near a suburban family home that does not believe in pest control. This game would not be half as fun if these children's parents invested in a good pest control company. It is the childlike wonder and perspective of the Toy Story movie's toys while not being microscopically small enough to fit into anyone else's body without being noticed. Obsidian Entertainment has long been known to make sequels based on already licensed series like Star Wars or Fallout. They have taken on some original intellectual properties with Pillars of Eternity, saving them from financial crisis. Still, they have not done much since they were acquired by Microsoft Studios. Since then, they have built their resume with The Outer Worlds, and now they are bringing us Grounded. Let's take a look at their newest original game. Keep in mind that the game is still in its early access stage and does not look to have a full release date until 2021. While Grounded's premise is being compared to the movie series Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, you do not actually know why you're smaller in the first place. Were your parents doing mad science experiments on you in your sleep? Was it a failed government weapon that accidentally targeted tweens? Who knows? Maybe the story will flesh out once the game is fully released. If you're going to sit down and play the game for the story, you are going to be sorely disappointed. And the story in the early access release of Grounded is only about a half an hour long. If anything, it is not even a story rather than an introduction on how to survive in your own backyard. If you, a relatively smart human tween, are having a hard time in your own backyard, imagine how a bug feels daily. Nature is indeed brutal. Unfortunately, the end of the story in Grounded's alpha release is just marked with the message, "The end of story content," which leaves you wondering what you're going to do next. At least the story introduced you to your microscopic backyard, where you are now free to roam and build, while you're hoping your father doesn't decide it's time to try out his new lawnmower. If you are coming into Grounded's alpha release, you've most likely seen various streams showing material gathering and base building. Who loves building bases other than gamers who thrive on the survival genre? Instead of doing all the cool things you imagined you would do if you were ever shrunken down to size, like rob a bank, you just stay in your backyard interacting with a robot. You complete objectives to earn science points to trade to this robot, Burgle, for crafting recipes for your base. However, if you think you're going to spend a lot of time in Grounded gathering new recipes and building elaborate bases, then you're going to be a bit disappointed because you can pretty much get everything in the game within a couple hours. Of course, everything changes when you realize you are going to be avoiding baddies. Why play a survival game or build a base if you are not going to have anything trying to eat you? That means you are going to be chased by various insects who are nothing but a nuisance once you've crafted decent armor and gear. But the big baddies are the spiders. Unfortunately, until you get to the point where you can craft better weapons and armor, you will play a miniaturized version of Monster Hunter. You do not just go up to a spider and smack it across the head with whatever cute little melee weapon you have. You need to avoid sudden death at the hands of giant spiders that make Rathos from Monster Hunter World tremble in fear if they were also shrunk to your size. The worst part about the spider encounters is they are completely random. There is nothing quite like the skin-crawling anxiety you get when you see a blade of grass moving when there is not any wind. Okay, yeah, you see that? That's big that's a spider in there. We are not going to be doing the spiders just yet. We need some better armor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh. God, I do not like spiders at all. They are not like the sort of friendly spiders in Minecraft either. They do not act all passive and shy to you during the day and become ferocious, poisonous Karens at night. No, the spiders in Obsidian's Grounded will make you aware that they are indeed spiders. They will stand up on their hind legs, give off a frightening roar that will make you throw your controller against the wall, and move to you at Sonic the Hedgehog speed when he sees a sky full of coins. When you are early in the game, do not even worry about fighting one. It is not worth it. If you thought you grew up fearing Silent Hill or Resident Evil series, then you're going to experience a fear like you've never felt before when you see "Alert, Threat Engaged" pop up on your screen. If you are out in the open, you might also want to pray to whichever deity you believe in. Here's a pro tip. When it comes to spiders, put away whatever you are holding. You can run faster when you're not holding anything in Grounded. Again, do not try fighting spiders until you're better geared. Your tactic in the early game is to run like a coward to fight another day. Not all creatures of the backyard are horrible apex predators coming to prey on young children. Smaller bugs can be cooked for food. Maybe you are not at the bottom of the food chain in your own backyard after all. Ladybugs also continue their tradition of being wholesome in various media forms by helping you find food sources in Grounded. There are also bees, dust mites, and mantis. There are also ants in the game who will not bother you unless you bother them. It's like a Bug's Life movie. If you mess with ants, they are going to mess with you right back. They have soldier ants as a backup, so do not even think about it until you can craft an ant set to pretend to be an ant. You can come back when you're bigger to burn their anthill with a magnifying glass, as all children do. After you are restored back to your normal size, just remind your father to investigate a good pest control company. Who will want to play in their own backyard after their normal size again, knowing how many spiders are in the grass? You are going to want to convince your father to clean the backyard. Who has that much stuff in their own backyard? It's full of trash. Obsidian Entertainment took it a bit further with Grounded by adding a particularly annoying mechanic for many, although a welcome one for survival genre enthusiasts, which is also needing to keep up with your food and water. You are human after all. Some games forget that. Imagine playing the Amnesia series, needing to focus on food and water on top of your sanity. We can't even figure that out in real life. This is why we have McDonald's. Unfortunately, until McDonald's realizes they can make a killing from shrunken people, you are going to have to gather food and water on your own. Keep an eye out for juice boxes or cans because they could potentially spawn liquid every in-game day. Finally, the base building in Grounded is most likely what you'll spend a lot of your time on. You can craft multiple camps and defend against hungry creatures. It is probably the most fun you will have in a base building game where the premise is being a shrunken teenager. Do not think you are going to be doing this alone because there is a way to bring your friends into your game in the early access version. PC and Xbox cross-platform multiplayer makes survival and base building fun. Unfortunately, there is no way to directly invite someone to your game in the early access version of Grounded, so you will need to find a workaround by joining your friend's game directly. Keep in mind, Grounded is in its early access stage, so we will reserve any negativity for the game and report any bugs so the developers can polish it before its full release. The game is available on Steam and for free with the Microsoft Ultimate Game Pass on PC and Xbox.